So let's start. Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us today for this new session of our webinar stories, new Bauhaus stories about how can we implement the Bauhaus in the construction sector. My name is Clémentine Coujard. I'm from Dowell Innovation. It's a French consultancy company, and we are coordinating the Nebula project that is organizing this series of webinars. So the question today is how can we combine the values of the European Bauhaus, beautiful, sustainable, inclusive, with a business-like approach towards the marketable product and the commercialization of solutions? So the agenda of the coming hour is as follows. I will briefly introduce the Nebula project, which is organizing this series of webinars. Then we will have Ilona introducing the EIT Community European Bauhaus and the mentoring and funding program that supports NEB projects and including startups. Then we will have presentation from 3 of these startups that benefited from such support. And we will conclude with addressing the question of the audience, if you have any, and a round of recommendations. In case you have questions, please use the chat and we will read your question at the end of the presentations. So a few words about the Nebula projects. Our ambition, so it's a European project, a coordination and support action, and we aim to bridge the gap between 2 key initiatives, the Build for People partnership, which is the funding program of Horizon Europe that is more particularly dedicated to the built environment, and the European Bauhaus that was initially designed as a more bottom-up initiative, but that goes more and more structured by the European Commission. We have 3 pillars in the project. The first one is to foster the adoption of the European Bauhaus principles and practices, so what gathers us today together. The second is more focused on the Build for People partnership, and our objective is to facilitate the access to funding and to networking opportunities for innovators in the construction ecosystems across Europe, especially using the Build for People program, but not only. And our third pillar is related to setting up a network of innovation clusters across Europe. So the idea is to connect innovators from construction ecosystem across Europe, but also in cross-border regions and across different disciplines. So in our consortium, we have some European associations, the technology platform, the European Technology Platform for the Built Environment and the World Green Building Council. They are the managing partner of the Build for People partnership and also the Architects Council of Europe. We have 2 research centers in France and Spain. We have 2 consultancy companies in France. And we have 2 clusters that are on board the consortium and that play the role of beta testers of the service that we design in the project. Regarding the network of Build for People innovation cluster that I mentioned earlier, so we have started this network. We have around 17 members so far. And the idea is indeed to connect these local ecosystems all together and at European level and to facilitate their access to funding, both on the private and public side. On this more specific access, I will let my colleague Julie Sacomano comment.
As Clémentine said, we're just starting to work with the clusters a few months ago to map their needs regarding funding opportunities. So we're working both on the European funding side, public funding opportunities, which programs can support the funding of innovations in the construction sectors, but we'll also try to work on the private investment side regarding like what kind of investors are interested and available. So we did a mapping of business angels and venture capitals at European levels, for example, and we tried to get in touch with some of them to really understand what they are searching for and try to put them in contact with clusters in a second step to facilitate the funding of specific innovative companies with private investors. And the second part of the funding help desk of Nebula. It's the matchmaking. So all the matchmakings that we organize, the next one will take place on the 7th of June. It's an online matchmaking for some specific Built for People course that will be open until next June. So I will put the chat in the link, and you're invited to participate to this matchmaking. The event is on the 7th, but we will use B2Match, so you can connect and get in touch with other participants when you want to.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, so more specifically on the new European Bauhaus side of our project, we have 3 types of activities in Nebula. We developed a NEB handbook last year that you can consult online. I will also share the link in the chat. We are building a network of NEB advisors. So the idea here again is to spread information about the European Bauhaus in local ecosystems related to the construction sector. If you're interested to join, please send me a message in the chat and we can discuss that. And finally, we have this series of webinars about the European Bauhaus, which we called New Bauhaus Stories. About that, just to give you an overview, so we started in March with the first session that was more focused on urban planning and the process of co-creation in urban planning. Then we had the second session in April with interviews of 3 winners of the European Bauhaus prizes. The recording are available online, so you can view them. Today we have the 3rd episode. Then we have one more in June, on the 4th of June, which is focused on renovation. Registration is open already, and I will share indeed the link again in the chat. Then we will have 2 more episodes in September and October. Okay, now I will introduce our speakers of the day. We will have Ilona Pushkash from Climate KIC that will introduce the EIT Community NEB. Then we have our 3 startups. Geoffrey Eberle from Entropic will introduce the Nest solution, a façade panel technology that creates living spaces both for the fauna and the flora. Then Anastasya Syvolob from GEODESIC.LIFE. She will introduce her Ukrainian startup that commercializes dome homes. And finally, Mujan Madian will introduce the Imperfect online platform that aims to enable more circular construction. And I will now pass on to Ilona.
Thank you, Clémentine.
Make you presenter in a sec. So yes. You should be able to share.
Yes. You can see it, I guess, because now I'm unable to see you. So thank you again for the kind invitation to present how we see the relationship between supporting entrepreneurship and having parallel definitions or like merging definitions of success in terms of market and viability from a financial point of view, but also complying with the NEB values and addressing the challenges that are relevant in this context. So about the EIT community, it is a consortium formed from several knowledge and innovation communities, which gather to further the new European Bauhaus and other strategic synergies. In this group, we have Climate KIC that I'm representing, EIT Food, Urban Mobility, and Manufacturing. So we joined forces to design an accelerator program that originally ran under the name Booster, and then further iterations of that. And then we refined it under Catalyze NEB and this is our key vehicle to conveying entrepreneurship support. This is our accelerator, and it is embedded in a wider journey that we have conceived to make the new European Bauhaus vision a reality. So we act as one of the implementing partners of the Joint Research Center of the Commission. So we started collaborating with them very closely quite early on, basically from the inception of the new European Bauhaus. So beyond what the Bauhaus of the Earth means and what the Potsdam Institute has been focusing on under wood construction, we have the mandate to expand on it based on the social demand for change. So this is a key drive for us to base all and every activity in social demand for change. And as Clémentine alluded to it, we are also identifying with the ethos of being grassroots or fostering grassroots initiative, aggregating and amplifying those voices, but also we would like to bridge this messy middle that sits between the grants, EU funding mechanisms, and the highly bureaucratic EU instruments for support. And we would like to act as connectors in this regard. And as you can see, we have two key strands of work, one centered around ideation and entrepreneurship, and one around citizen engagement. And we do aim to have for this distinction to be quite porous, so as we don't enter into and recreate silos that have caused a lot of damage so far in our systems. So Catalyze NEB, which sits here on the left side, is accessible through several routes, and one is Ignite NEB, which is our flagship program, which evolved from traditional hackathons, but we did add a more embodied lived experience that inspires ideas that address local challenges along the thematic axis defined in the NEB compass, and which act as guidance for our roadmap towards positive impact. So from Ignite NEB events, we select projects that are quite early stage. They enter our most promising ones enter Grow NEB, which is a space to pilot, test, and develop these early stage ideas. So it's most similar to an incubator program, and there's a dedicated spot for the most successful Grow NEB projects to enter Catalyze. But we also recruit, scout startups beyond this, and it's an open application. And what I would really like to highlight is that this is quite unique, that all the approaches of the various thematic KICs, knowledge innovation communities that gather under this EIT community, bring their own distinct knowledge and amalgamate this proposition that supports startups, blend business success with new European Bauhaus success. And yeah, I think I will stop here and open the floor to the startup. So as we can see real life stories, and in the Q&A we can go back to tips and tricks on how to make the most out of this program.
Thank you very much, Ilona. Okay, so we will now give the floor to Geoffrey.
Fantastic. I need to share my screen.
Yes, you should be able to now.
Okay. Fantastic. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, but we can see each other. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Well, hi, everyone. I'd like to first introduce kind of the initiative that we were doing, and then kind of share some of the experiences that we have been having with our startup. So a little about ourselves. We come from the creative background rather than the technology background, where some startups that you'll see are more associated to, and some are coming from more that technical perspective. So Nest is really the brainchild of our company Entropic, which is an architectural company. And we basically started to ask ourselves, when we look at existing cities today, we see how can we move away from more unsustainable developments caused by human activity and almost towards healthier, more biodiverse and eco-centric cities. And there's almost like this problem today when we think about cities is almost like the complete rejection of nature and spaces that are designed almost entirely for humans. And the problem is people thrive in natural environments more than they do in these more, shall we say, desolate environments. So when we're looking at species loss, it's quite dramatic. It's quite scary. You can see that there's a lot of biodiversity loss across all different species types. Of course, planting, not so much, only 22%, but of all bird species, over 40%, and bats over 40%, and a lot of the insect life as well. So we identified this as a problem and almost have made this our entire mission to try and solve within the architectural space. And so what we wanted to do was essentially create almost like a Lego set, a kit of parts which other designers and developers and contractors could essentially use. And we realized that a lot of the tools that we have today are standardized items which are made for very specific and kind of mundane tasks. But as soon as you want to bring biodiversity within architecture or buildings, there's this missing gap. So the question for us was, what would be the most standard item that almost anybody could use and that could fit on existing solutions, but at the same time not be made from plastics, as a lot of existing solutions out there are using, and also be used from biodiverse materials, but also something that could be beautiful throughout the year. It's often a problem that sometimes we do have these plastic green wall facade solutions which look good for some of the year but can look terrible for most, and so a lot of people do not want to adopt them. So it was almost targeting this use case of the general user rather than bespoke users. So we looked at the different opportunities that this could create. So of course, biohabitats being the most obvious one, but also air quality. We can create reduction in nitrous oxide and different particulate matter. But we also found that we could reduce the temperature absorption of the walls, because essentially the plants are creating a self-shading microclimate adjacent to the walls. And that then compounds to the urban heat reduction. So today, a lot of cities are having extreme temperatures as the climate goes up because, well, the surfaces are made from these hard surfaces. And acoustic reduction, sustainable materials, we were very much interested. And of course, fundamentally, well-being. How can we make people happier? And finally, the concept of circular economy. A lot of the systems that you see today, if one item collapses in existing solutions, then sometimes the whole system can collapse. So a big question for us was, could we replace these items? Could they be reused in different areas and so forth? So we created almost like this catalog from the most basic brick to all different types. And through our research, we found that we could target certain types of bird species, bat species, depending on the habitat themselves. For instance, some people say, well, what if the entire wall becomes a wall of pigeons, right? But that's only true if you have a certain size opening. And if you target some of those smaller size openings where a lot of the endangered species exist, then actually you can target certain species which are more on the endangered list. And we looked at like a number of different use cases, not only from exterior, but also interior, and also different ways that we could imagine these tiles. And actually, when you think about cities, a lot of cities, depending on different types, have a lot of blind walls. So these are essentially what we think of as real estate, which is underused. And we started to pose the question, what if you could transform every single blind wall in a city into actually a living wall? What then could be the impact for the biodiversity within a city? Often when we think about cities and we think about landscaping, we think about the available ground area, but the problem is we also need to share that with cars and people. And so there's a limited amount that we can actually occupy. So the walls is really kind of the next frontier in landscape possibilities within cities. And we actually think it has potentially the greatest impact. So and we looked at almost like the entire use cases from different types of applications to users and so forth, really to see where we could be most effective. And we've had many discussions that have gone through this with different users and how we can optimize the product for different users. So what was interesting as well was like we found ourselves in like kind of between two extremes, one where you have dead tile walls and one where you have essentially hyper green walls. And actually we found that actually the space between was really where there was the most amount of opportunity. So we could create cheap, affordable solutions that were customizable, but also created a diversity in habitats and could almost be zero maintenance. And so we were looking at lots of different opportunities. How is the market changing? If we look at the EU, I think maybe there's been a bit of a slowdown with, of course, the whole war between Russia and Ukraine, but still there is this energy to see the Green Deal really happen to increase the biodiversity around. So we see ourselves almost surfing this incoming tsunami of development and energy coming within the European Union market. So we've had some successes, some failures. It's been an interesting journey for us. Of course, we've been very well supported with the new European Bauhaus, which has been a fantastic opportunity, and EIT. And this has essentially accelerated our project from an idea almost to this stage where we're able to prefabricate our products in-house and actually start prototyping. And so we're right now going through a process still of bringing our product to the market solution, which can be affordable for any clients. So we're trying to finalize that product. But there's been this opportunity with testing and so forth. And I think maybe for us, one of the most valuable opportunities is being connected to all these different people who can help us make our project come to reality. And that's been from techno expertise, but also business expertise and marketing expertise. And I cannot underexpress how useful that's been. It was skills that we didn't think we need. And then when we were confronted with the reality of the market, this became fundamental. So how do you pitch your ideas? How do you express your ideas? What are investors looking for? What do we need to get our product to the final market scenario? And we went through a big journey of like establishing partners. There's lots of different opportunities out there when you start getting into this space. But there's from everything from, of course, Climate KIC to climate accelerator programs, DUT, Nebula, Build for People, everything. There are so many different organizations that are wanting to bring sustainable ideas to market. which has been fantastic for us to work together. So that's a little bit about the project. Please, if anyone has any questions, get in touch with me. My LinkedIn QR code is below. You can take a screenshot. But I would say New European Bauhaus and every organization that is connected to it, it's really the right kind of energy to make startups that maybe on their initial space would struggle in the startup market. You know, like sometimes there's this fear that with a startup you need to be finding something that is going to become the next Elon Musk, shall we say, startup. But the New European Bauhaus is here to support socially oriented ideas, sustainable oriented ideas, and of course beautiful oriented ideas. So if you can bring those three pillars together, I think it's a very interesting space to work with. And if you already have some great ideas, try to adapt them. Try to adapt them to the New European Bauhaus values. It will be good for your product, but it'll also make it applicable for this program. And so I fully recommend reaching out and exploring that. So I think that's it from me. But if there's any more questions, I'll happily answer them at the end of this webinar. And if you have questions going beyond today, I'll just reach out and we can connect and let me share some more experience. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey, for this super positive experience sharing. No questions so far in the chat. Please don't hesitate to post if you have any remarks or questions. We can address them at the end of the presentations. And I will give the floor to Asya. Please, you should be able to share your presentation now.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Okay, great. So thank you, Clementine, for this opportunity. Hello, everyone. My name is Asya. I'm co-founder of GEODESIC.LIFE. We design and build sustainable prefabricated dome houses, like this one I wanted to say, but it's not moving. Why? Yeah, it moved like this one. So I would like to tell you a few words about our project and how we work together with New European Bauhaus and how this program by EIT helped us. So basically, it all started when I was a little girl, because I spent a lot of time with my grandma in the country house, and I always dreamed to have my own house. And my dream actually came true. So designing my dream house with my husband, we found out that buildings and their construction actually contribute to almost 40% of global CO2 emission. And more terrible is what happens to houses after 100 years, because building waste is usually burned or landfilled. An issue of similar importance is affordability of housing, because millions of families are living in overcrowded, polluted cities. Their kids are not able to touch the grass. They are paying huge rents. And at the same time, rurals are extremely depopulated. So we believe that we should change these two things. And we actually know how, because we have already built our first house for ourselves 5 years ago. I am sitting in it right now. So it proved its energy efficiency, comfortability, and all the great parameters for environment sustainability. After 2 years, we have built our second house, which you can see on the bottom line for our customer. And now we have developed a third generation dome model, which uniqueness is a combination of 3 things. The dome shape helps us to save up to 33% on materials and for construction, which means that it's cheaper to build and you pay less for heating and cooling. We use hempcrete insulation which consists of industrial hemp fiber waste and limestone, which is durable, absorbs CO2, and can be reused for new insulation. And cross-laminated timber we use for structure of our houses. It is great material because it's super easy and quick to cut in factory and easy to assemble. And these wooden panels are already an interior for your house, so you don't need any additional finishing options. So you can again save some money on it. We have calculated our climate impact and we can save up to 70% of CO2 emission comparing to other modern houses and like average modern houses that are there in Europe at the moment. And most of the materials that we used can be upcycled for a new building. We have also reached great parameters in comfortability, in energy efficiency, and environment parameters. Yeah, please meet our team. You can see these three mentors, Situ, Thais, and Sandrine. These guys actually, we got them thanks to new European Bauhaus Booster program. That's where we get acquainted, and these guys actually helped us a lot to upgrade our vision, our business model, our financial calculations, etc. So we dream to develop a carbon neutral dome model and to build villages, sustainable villages like this with family houses surrounding a bigger community hub or school. And let me tell you a few words about how new European Bauhaus program helped us with this. So right now, actually, we got it all started back in 2020 when we started participating in these great programs from EIT. By now, we already participated in several of those. So we started with Climate Launchpad, where we won second place in national final in Ukraine. Then we joined Jumpstarter Pre-Accelerator, where we also won second prize. Then we're a new European Bauhaus Booster previous year, and this year we also participated in Boost Up Ukraine and won third prize there. So all these programs really helped us. And a bit more about new European Bauhaus, of course. So as you already heard, it's all about beautiful, sustainable, and together, these core values. And the main question is, okay, we have built a beautiful house. It is super sustainable. So all these values are we feel them. It correlates a lot with our project, but how we can make it a business in the end. So during this program, it is 6 months program, we actually got a lot of very qualified and professional mentorship, which helped us to upgrade our business model, to understand more clearly who we are and where we want to go with our project further. So it helped us. It was like work, like we had weekly meetings, we planned and did a lot, and in the end, right now we have a much clearer picture of who are our customers, what kind of companies we would like to see as our partners, and more. And as well, we also got great financial mentorship, which helped us to build and calculate a 3-year scale-up plan and understand how much money do we need and what we will do with them. Moreover, climate impact forecast company helped us a lot with all these calculations. That's how we calculated this 70% of CO2 that we can save with our solution. And this is also a great opportunity because there are a lot of various tools and companies and calculating this, and not all of them are super easy to use. So these guys really helped us on a very professional level to calculate this number. What else? I attended Tech Barbecue in Copenhagen. It's a great conference for us because we actually focus on Nordics markets, and I got an opportunity to show our project there. So we had a big, nice booth of EIT where we were 10 startups, if I'm not mistaken, there, that we had, each of us had time slot at this booth. So I could just stand there and people were passing by, and I got acquainted like this with a very great guy. With him, we are now talking as our potential partner. Yeah, and also matchmaking was super great there. It was possible to arrange meetings in advance, and I got a lot of meetings there and got feedback from the market, if there is a market for our houses in Nordics and all that. So it helped us a lot. And to summarize, yeah, basically this program is about, so it's 6 months. You can receive a lot of mentorship, a lot of workshops that helped us to upgrade our idea, to pack it a bit better. And it was each week we had 1 or 2 sessions, and also we got 10,000 euro in cash that we could use for our updating web page, making a design of our brand identity. It covered my business trips to Copenhagen and to Barcelona, and we also started to design this bigger house, like school or community hub. So yeah, it actually helped us a lot, and one of the most important is that we got a lot of international contacts, and it's probably it really boosted us, I should say. So right now we are at the stage where we have calculated how much money do we need. We're looking for this money, looking for investors, looking for clients, looking for partners, which are basically real estate companies or municipalities, in mostly in Nordics. The next step would be to build a demo house of this third generation that I've described you, and yeah, continue to building whole villages of our sustainable, beautiful geodesic domes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I should give a floor to the next one, I think.
Thank you very much, Asia, for sharing this great project with us. Okay, next.
Thank you for the opportunity.
A pleasure. Please, Mujan, the floor is yours.
First. Yes, so hello everyone. Thank you once again for inviting us today. So I'm Mujan, and I am the co-founder of Imperfect. We are Brussels-based, and we focus on enabling construction actors to profit from circular economy. And I think that's a mission that resonates with the aim of today's webinar, where we bring impact such as reusing and bringing back materials into the cycle by enabling the benefit of it for the construction actors throughout the value chain. And so we do that by streamlining the audit of reclaimed material via our online inventory platform. So why now? And we know and we are aware of the impact of the construction industry in pollution and its environmental impact. And now, following the renovation wave that is happening, we should be aware that, for example, in the renovation in a typical renovation of a building, a huge amount of waste is produced, and that means that a lot of value is lost, and that brings a lot of impact in terms of environmental footprint. So nobody wants all this value to be lost. And so more and more regulations are happening in the European landscape to prevent this phenomenon, but also more and more actors are aware about the waste management costs and also how to bring human resource to tackle this challenge, and more clients are becoming sustainably conscious and are demanding more ESG oriented solutions. So in the circular transition, still the construction sector is a bit left behind, and so the problem is that construction actors throughout the value chain, as the suppliers of reclaimed materials, don't have access to the right tool to connect to the circular market. And what is happening is that they start an efficient process of bringing circularity to their projects, starting by identifying the reclaimed material, running inventories, but at the end, the data that is collected are not usable, and they're not a data that could bring benefit and could bring sustainability and circularity to a construction project. It is time-consuming, demands huge amounts of delays to convert and assess the data, and will have an impact at the end on the affordability of reclaimed materials. So again, this inefficient process will prevent the construction actors to fully integrate a circular process in their projects. So we have a solution for that to unlock actually the hidden value of construction materials inventory. We have the Imperfect platform, which valorize the hidden value in these imperfect materials. So we have an online inventory platform, and thanks to our integrated data and automated process, we enable ready-to-share material audit. So that's 15 times faster and reduce the cost by 80%, which at the end meets our mission to increase the supply of reclaimed material in the construction industry, but also brings material valorization for the benefit of the construction actors. It's an online, collaborative, and efficient platform. So we enable the collaboration between different actors that are implemented and that are involved in the process of circular economy to work together on solely one platform. We enable integrated performance tracking in terms of circularity performance and tracking the environmental impact of each material and each project and each inventory. And at the end, so we enable to close the loop with a direct link to the market by generating material passport, digital material passport for each material combined with a QR code. So in a way, we are enabling the link between software, all the data, all the information, and hardware, so all the materials that are existing in the sites. So coming to our experience being part of the EIT NEB Booster program, so we started with setting some ambitions in terms of bringing the new European Bauhaus values and working principles into Imperfect, and being closing the loop being the most important one for us. And throughout the program, so we as Asya also explained it very well, so we have we've been assisted by mentors in business and product development who enabled us to work more on the development of our solution, to define how to tackle the market and refine our go-to-market strategy. we've been also able to calculate and have a broader idea about our impact, and that was very significant for us to see that how we can manage to have actually more impact within our solution, and of course meeting extraordinary people through the program, fellow startups, but also important and strategic partnership that could happen for Imperfect, and very interesting conversations with potential collaborators. So Imperfect is a significant impact in terms of CO2 saving to meet the Green Deal perspectives. It's also a huge impact for the businesses in terms of businesses and construction actors to opt for circular economy in their projects. So we are in the phase of growing our community, and I will be happy to run a demo of our platform. So please don't hesitate to message me or visit our website, and I will be happy to show you more. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mujan. Thanks. Okay, so we are through with the presentations. We have one question so far from Uwe. It's a question to Geoffrey. Could you please put your camera on? So Geoffrey, to you. Can your project be integrated easily into existing building systems, and how circular are they?
Sure, very easily, because they're mounted onto existing facade panel systems. So like typically you have, for a lot of facade panels, you have like almost like an aluminium framing profiles, and you have objects that essentially click on. So basically we designed the system up from the most standard fittings possible. So if you had a building, for instance, that didn't have that like structural framing system, it'd be very easy. You would just like mount it onto a wall, providing it can structurally take it. Some walls might not be applicable, maybe if they were soft timber, but most would be. And then you just mount these things up. So we designed it from the starting point of standardized solutions, and I think that's allowed us to go forward with that. So hope that answers the question.
On circularity, would you like to comment as well?
Sure. Well, the cool thing is when you use facade panels which don't utilize mortar, as like maybe you say a conventional brick wall, it means that you can remove the parts and you could apply it to a different building without losing any qualitative aspects of the product. So if you utilize your building for 50 years and you had this entire facade panel, you would just slide them all off and rebuild a brand new building with the same facade panels, no mortar, no waste, nothing lost. So I would argue they're completely circular. And you could even use them for different applications such as interior or other different solutions. So I would claim they are 100% circular in that regard. Hope that answers the question.
Seems to be. Indeed. Thank you, Geoffrey. So Uwe says that he will be looking more into it. Okay, so to conclude, I suggest we have a round of comments from our speakers. If you can please put your camera on. What would be your recommendations for innovators that would follow your path in terms of entrepreneurship projects, combining the values of the European Bauhaus? I suggest we start with Geoffrey and we have a round.
Sure.
Also, if you have any remarks about the type of support, or if you have recommendations for Ilona regarding the EIT NEB Journey, and if you were missing some specific type of support, it could be interesting too. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it largely depends on the type of project you're doing. And you need to be kind of like surgical and target the right things, but they are out there. So generic advice is good, but like specific advice is better, I would argue. You'll find, for instance, if your startup is orientated towards energy transition, there's some very specific programs, solutions that you can actually go through. But if you're looking within New European Bauhaus, they're very kind of broad towards the same sustainable transition. So I think there's lots of opportunities there. My best advice is to get in touch and network your way through to find the very best things for yourself. So it's a big scary maze, and it's scary to start Googling that stuff, but there's so many people with like good advice and good knowledge on the topic that you really want to utilize them, and everyone in the space is here to help, which is the nice thing. It's a really good networking community. So that's my advice.
Thank you. Asya, how would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, thank you. I would add to what Geoffrey just said that, there is actually a huge amount of opportunities out there. And I would actually recommend to go for EIT programs, because EIT is also huge. It's like amazing how huge organization it is. And you can choose different directions according to what you are doing. And EIT has different departments that focusing on different directions. So I would really suggest to look what is there that EIT is offering. And if you join New European Bauhaus program, which is of course super great, I would suggest to just take as much as you can, but don't stress out, because even within one program, you have a lot of workshops, a lot of different mentors, and you should also prioritize and try to feel which is most important for you, which you could skip probably, because you cannot take everything, but you can take like what you can take. So that would be probably my advice. And also networking as much as possible, because it opens a lot of doors, and you could really meet great people, and some good partnerships may appear, but you should open your mouth and talk to people. And yeah, it's also could be a bit scary, but when you are in a program like this, you have your peers, other startups that you could start talk to, and it helps a lot. And then when you go to some conference, you also have these people that you already know. It also helps, and then you start talking to others, and it's not that difficult when you should just start. So
Thank you, Asya. Mujan, I see you were nodding.
Yes, yes. I confirm everything that was said, and if I can add some small points, is that being impact focused in the construction sector is not evident. It's still the challenge. Because the nature and the value chain of construction is super complicated, fragmented. So don't be scared or of hearing some rejections or some doubts about bringing impact or innovation solutions to construction. That will be, in a sense, to wrap up everything that was said, and also considering the EIT NEB Booster program specifically, I would also suggest to come with your needs. So don't be afraid to start by mentioning your needs as a startup, what you expect from the program, and what will be more helpful for you before starting the program, so you can adjust, and you could benefit from all of it, the most of it, actually at the end, and have a greater output. Yeah.
Thank you, Mujan. So, Ilona, how would you conclude on recommendations maybe for future applicants to the program?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for this feedback, because it's very good to hear how beneficial you perceived this program, and I think that's yeah, that really helps us also keep the momentum and grow this program, and be able to expand the scope of startups that we work with. And to echo some of the points that were mentioned in this wrap up, it is, I would encourage everyone to be bold and come forward with ideas that are not necessarily well articulated yet. They are kind of just percolating there. And the whole EIT community in European Bauhaus crew specifically, and also Climate KIC in general, we really believe in accessibility, and we welcome these ideas at a very early stage, and we also operate in a flat hierarchy. So maybe in some of the KICs, the establishment is a bit different, but with Climate KIC, we really aim to see you as equal partners, and join. You can join us on the journey, and we are venturing towards raising funding further on, and together with our startups. So it's not really this us mentoring you, but you also mentor us and enrich what we are doing. So I would say, yeah, don't be a stranger, don't be shy to approach us, and we can really tailor a collaboration to your specific needs. And you, I would say the big advantage is that you don't have to compromise on your values, and you can be successful in harmony with what you really genuinely believe in.
Thank you, Ilona. Okay, we are perfectly in time. I would like to really warmly thank our speakers for sharing their great experience. I wish you all the best for the next steps in your respective projects. To our attendees, please remember that we have the next webinar on the 4th of June that will be more focused on renovation, with a bunch of EU projects discussing how to do renovation in the new European Bauhaus spirit. Thanks again. Have a very nice day. Bon appétit. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
lovely
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.